Hey, what's going on, guys? Here at Galaxy Games for another updated deck profile for the new February 2018 ban list. And today, I'm so excited for this. Showing you guys my Gem Knight FTK deck. I finally got everything together for the deck. Big shout out to Robbie Riley for letting me borrow his free Lone Fire Blossoms. It's actually maybe what I played at the regional. I had so much fun playing this deck today. I had so much fun doing test hands and realizing just how consistent this deck actually is. Granted, you of course are susceptible kind of to Ghost Ogre, but especially to Ash Blossom, but...
What deck isn't?
Yeah, right. But when you get it off, it's just so satisfying. And like the side deck I put in today, a lot of the cards I put in for going second really came in clutch and actually allowed me to win game threes going second, which is just insane. Because you'd think this is an all-in deck where you just either OTK or lose, or do the burn, loop and lose, or lose, but yeah, it was just so good. So I think we ended up getting second place today, being Pendulum Magicians and Cosmo Artifacts, so not too bad. And then we lost to Trickstar. Game one was kind of a misplay on my part. And then game two, he just, I bricked, and he had the Ash for my Rescue Rabbit, so that's what happens. So we'll get into the profile here. And if you guys like this enough, I may do like some, combo videos with this deck, maybe some test hands as well, because it's just insane what this deck can do. You really have to kind of sit down, for a little bit and really practice with the deck to learn its combos and to get more familiarized with them, especially to make sure that you're moving at a quick enough pace, because at a regional, if you move too slow, you can really get rule sharked for it. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get right into the profile. Starting off, we have the free Gem Armadillo. This was a card that previously you only played at 2 or 1 in Gem Knights because it's not a Gem Knight monster, which really sucked. But the fact that you can use this as a link material for your link monster, Phantom Quartz, makes it so much better than it was before, and makes it a staple free of card. It's a really good normal summon to search for your Gem Knight Obsidian for most of the time.
And it's pretty.
Next, we have the free Lazuli and the free Obsidian, pretty standard. These are what gets your normal monsters back from grave to hand with Lazuli, or special summon them with Obsidian. While Lazuli is obviously very good, and the fact that you can send it from deck to grave to get the card back is really good as well. Obsidian is probably more important for the actual OTK because of the fact it can actually special summon from grave, and that gives you an extra 500 damage off of your burn effects. So yeah, very, very good. Staple free ups. Next for the vanillas, we play the free Lapis and the free Garnet. Lapis you need because of the Lapis Lazuli, and Garnet, you could easily interchange this with like Tourmaline if you wanted to, especially if you wanted to play like Prismara in the extra deck. But Garnet's pretty good since it's just got a reprint and it's 300 attack points stronger, so that can come into play sometimes. So yeah, 6 vanillas.
Now what about Sapphire?
No, it's 0 attack, 2100 defense. It wouldn't really be good in those situations where you need the battle damage OTK.
No.
1 Crystal Rose. This card is actually amazing with the new combos that you do. The fact that it's a light for your Seraph Knight matters a lot, because you can end up opening like multiple normal summons and actually get use out of that with making Seraph Knight. That and the fact that it can banish a fusion, to special summon it back, which again is another 500 burn. Then it also can Foolish a Gem Knight and copy its name, which means it becomes a Gem Knight for fusion plays. Is really good because you can just send Lazuli and then get its effect off to add a normal monster back. So Crystal Rose is just really good. I may even play 2 of this card because I did have a situation today where I bricked it in my hand, and if it were in my deck to make Seraph Knight, I could have made a lot more plays. So this may be a card that gets bumped up to 2. It's just so good. You don't want to draw it, but it's really good when you can like send off a Brilliant Fusion or some other play.
My God, with all the stuff it can do, is there anything it can't?
Be a Gem Knight unless it uses effects, I guess. Next, we have the free Block Dragon. This card is another very insane card in this deck. This is a card you like to send off a Foolish Burial. You send it sometimes off a Brilliant Fusion to make Zirconia. Basically what this does, you can banish free Earth monsters from your hand and or graveyard to special summon this from your hand or graveyard. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add up to 3 rock monsters whose total levels add up to 8. So you can fuse this away to make a Zirconia. You can you'll link this away to make a Mrs. Radiant or like a Decode Talker, and then it just gets you 3 monsters for free, which are usually Crystal Rose and 2-level frees, like an Obsidian, a Lapis, whatever you need really. So Block Dragon's just too good. Again, it is another monster on board for your burn damage, but it's mostly there just to get you free searches, which is just insane for this deck.
How many of those can you resolve usually on board?
Only one, but you really want to be able to get to this card either in your hand or to send. So I feel like you kind of need to play free. The other thing this card does with the Link monster is, again, it banishes free Earth monsters from your hand or graveyard, and then that gives you usually free Gem Knight monsters in your banish zone that you can use with Phantom Quartz's fusion effect to be able to shuffle them back into the deck to fusion summon whatever you want. So that the combo with Phantom Quartz is just insane.
And he's level 8, correct?
Yeah, he is level 8. So yeah, he's a big combo enabler for sure. Next, we have the Predaplant engine, the free Lone Fire Blossom, the free Scorpio, and the 1 Cobra. Again, just out of fear of bricking this card, I may consider bumping this up to 2, but obviously it's a huge brick. You want to see these more often, obviously. If you're able to get one of these off, you can easily search a Gem Knight Fusion or a Brilliant Fusion, whatever you need, and then that can just get you to what you need for your OTK combos. So you need to play these; they're too good.
Now, question on that engine: why did you decide to run it now as opposed to like you've had this deck before? What changed as far as making the play engine go?
Well, basically, when Master Rule 4 dropped, before we had this card, there was really not much that could do. It really couldn't spam out enough fusions to burn the opponent for game or to like OTK through battle damage. So without this card and Master Rule 4, the deck does nothing. But with this card, you want to make it as consistent as possible to do the OTK. So that's why you play like such a big Predaplant engine. And then also why you play the free Rescue Rabbit. Because if you get this off, this gets you 2 vanilla Gem Knights on board, which gets you to your Phantom Quartz, which then gets you your search, potentially for Gem Knight Fusion or a Gem Knight monster you need. So,
he's
yeah.
finally back at 3.
He is back at 3, and again, a big combo enabler. Really sucks when this gets ashed, though, because it does sometimes. So that's the monsters. I believe it's 29 monsters. Pretty big monster lineup.
Good lord.
For spells, standard, free Gem Knight Fusion, and free Brilliant Fusion. You don't play any less than any Gem Knight deck. They're just way too good. This really getting loud in here. So yeah. And most of your OTK burn hands, you do want to see either one of these, and especially with like a Predaplant engine card to be able to get to the other. But I actually have had situations where I've been able to OTK with just the Gem Knight Fusion and not having the Brilliant Fusion. So that's actually kind of the nutty thing with this deck, is it can have those really weird hands that you'd look on the surface and think it can't do anything, but when you play it out, it actually gets you there. So yeah, free Gem Knight Fusion, free Brilliant Fusion.
For this deck, which one do you prefer? Like, which one do you think is the better of the card?
They're both very needed. Gem Knight Fusion in the long run is the better card because it keeps recycling itself, and it can make you fuse like 4, 5, 6, 7 times in a turn, which is just insane. Gem Knight Fusion is really the card that gets you your OTKs. As I said, you can potentially do the burn OTK without Brilliant Fusion, but you cannot do it without Gem Knight Fusion. That is just a fact. So that's where Phantom Quartz is so important to be able to search it out. Next to Painful Decision, I kind of had 2 flex cards in the main deck since I was going off of the list from this past weekend that got 1st and 2nd place at Yu-Gi-Oh! Day that I believe MCole40 actually profiled. So that list was playing like Pot of Acquisition this and Instant Fusion, but I decided to try to up the consistency with Painful Decision. I didn't really see this a lot today, and it didn't really do a whole lot, so I may change these out for Unexpected Dies. But the theory behind it is that this card gets you more advantage than Unexpected Die, because it gets you a vanilla in grave and a vanilla in hand. And this card's less dead, because of course with Unexpected Die, if you have a monster on board, then it's obviously dead. But Unexpected Die may be replacing this just because it gets you an extra monster on board to make your Phantom Quartz. So yeah, we'll see. But for today, it was the Painful Decision. For one Obs, one Foolish Burial, you can send Crystal Rose, you can send Lazuli, you can send Block Dragon. Just too many applications for this card. And then for one Obs, one Monster Reborn, and the one Soul Charge. These can potentially get you those extra monsters you need for your burn OTK. There's actually a situation today against Trickstars where I was able to Soul Charge back 2 monsters, and if I hadn't have misplayed, I definitely could have done a lot more burn damage and potentially won the game in an awkward situation because he had Cosmic Cyclone, my Brilliant Fusion, and then Reincarnation Droll Locked my hand after I had set 4 cards. But I still was in the position with Soul Charge to be able to potentially get there. I just kind of misplayed a bit, and I don't think it would have been enough, but yeah, Soul Charge is one of those cards that can just help get you there potentially. Same with Monster Reborn.
Such good cards, both of them.
Yeah. So that is the 40 card main deck. 40 extra, we are playing 2 of the Gemini Phantom Quartz. You don't necessarily need to, but you do have a little bit of flexibility in the extra deck, and in case like the first one gets ogred, I'd like to be able to make the second one to be able to get the fusion effect off. So what this does, for those of you that don't know, if this card's Link Summon, you can add any Gem Knight card from your deck to your hand. So it is Absorb Fusion without the negatives. So that on its own is very good. The second effect is that you can pay 1,000 life points to fusion summon a Gem Knight monster using materials from your field, grave, or that are banished, and shuffle them back into the deck for the fusion summon. So that is absolutely insane for the fact that you can shuffle back banished cards. And the fact that you just recover resources back into the deck, and you basically get a free fusion summon off of it. It's just so insane. So yeah, 2 Phantom Quartz. Your main reason why this deck can actually OTK the way it does,
AKA new boss monster.
Yeah,
in a way.
So upper links, 1 Mrs. Radiant in case you need to link away to Block Dragon, which is an Earth, to make this. The 1 Decode Talker in case you have like a Phantom Quartz and then like a Block Dragon or another monster you need to link away for space. One of the big things that I learned today playing this deck and kind of making some of the misplays I did is that you really have to be careful where you place your monsters in zones, and you kind of have to think ahead with your plays, thinking about how many monsters you can put on board and how much burn damage can you do with your combos and can you kill your opponent. So Decode Talker is definitely a card that helped get me there today because of it being a link 3 and because of it having the downward pointers. And that's the same for the last monster, the Warlord. You don't really use its effect that much. It's just here as a link 4 that has 2 downward pointers. It is a card that could potentially get cut for like a True King of All Calamities or a Prismara if I ever switch out the Garnets for what's it called, for Tourmaline. But for now, Warlord's there in case we need to get rid of 4 monsters and have 2 downward pointers. So that's the links. For the fusions, we have the free Lady Lapis Lazuli. You do need all 3 of them for the combo because while you can only summon 1 per turn, you do send the others with her effect and the effect of Master Diamond copying Lady Lapis Lazuli. So you essentially get to have up to 4 burn effects off of Lady Lapis Lazuli, which is how you get the burn OTK. So it's actually just insane. 3 and 3, you need a full package. For one of Gem Knights, we have the 1 Lady Brilliant Diamond. It's nice to be able to summon off a Brilliant Fusion sometimes, because it's 3 Gem Knights you're sending from deck, and then of course you can tribute it to summon any Gem Knight you want. It's also useful if you don't have the Lapis to be able to summon the Lady Lapis Lazuli, because this can help get you there. So, I mean, it's always been a good Gem Knight.
It's also a really big beat stick.
Yeah. The 1 Seraph Knight, as I said, when you have the Crystal Rose to be able to summon this and get an extra normal summon, because you play like 9 different normal summons in the deck, so you can obviously brick with multiple normal summons sometimes, and it can help get you there. And then the 1 Zirconia, really good with Brilliant Fusion, being able to summon Block Dragon as the Rock, and then another Gem Knight to summon this is just too good. It's another key component of some of your burn OTKs. And then for the final monster, it's the 1, number 41. This is here in case you have a brick hand with, say, a Rescue Rabbit, or your opponent kind of stops your combo midway through, and you're left with like 2 level 4s on board. You can just kind of overlay them into this and hope to stall out for a turn or 2, and then maybe be able to steal the game from there. So that's really the only reason it's here. As I said, I did consider True King of All Calamities because the Master Diamonds are level 9. And in those events that you don't have like the full burn, it could potentially become clutch. So
is that, something you'll consider Is that something you'd consider playing for the regional? Is the
It's something I definitely consider. I still have a lot of work to do with the deck, breaking down the ratios and kind of testing different things. But it is definitely something I'm considering to do. Is to put in the True King of all calamities.
I think it'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. So that's the extra deck. For the side, we have 10 cards for going second. We have 4 Kaijus and the 1 Slumber. These were really good today, as I mentioned before. This actually helped me get over the Wombo combo board of Pendulum Magicians with that had the Electromite plus the Vortex Dragon and the Naruto, because I had like a Kaiju, a Slumber, and then a Raigeki. That just was absolutely insane. And then I even OTK'd that turn. I mean, what more can you ask for? So yeah.
For Konami to ban Pendulum Magicians out the ass.
Yeah. So 4 Kaijus, 3 board wipes, and then the free Twin Twisters. If I owned Hatrunades, these would definitely be Hatrunades because the discard cost can be kind of detrimental when you want to actually use resources from your hand. That and this only hits 2 back row, whereas Hatrunade can hit a whole board of like 4 to 5 set back row, and that could just make you more safe to be able to go through with your plays and make your OTKs and all that good stuff. And then for going first, we have the full Solemn package, the 3 strike, 1 warning, and 1 judgment. You would think that with this deck being as all in as it is in the main deck for the Burn OTK, that you wouldn't even want to side anything going first. But when you consider the fact that you have decks like Trickstars that can easily main and then side in like anywhere from 9 to 12 or 15 hand traps, there's going to be a lot of times where they have the Ash, they have the Gamma, they have the Ogre, they have the Veiler that just shuts off your play. So you need something that kind of, helps stall you out a turn or two. So these are kind of the cards to do that. When the Quick Play spell comes out in the Super Edition of Extreme Forces in sometime in March, the card that can negate hand traps, that card will be a staple free of in the main because that'll be a huge answer to Ash Blossom for this deck. So I definitely cannot wait until that comes out. So that'll be a really big addition to this deck. So that's it for this profile of my Gem Knight FTK. Definitely a prototype build, but I'm very happy with how the deck played. Had a lot of fun. I'm actually surprised of how consistent this deck is. Of course, taking hand traps out of the equation. And it did well today. Basically got me 2nd place, so can't really complain. Big thank you to Jake from State Farm for recording behind the camera again for me. So remember, guys, to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see some combo videos or test hand videos, be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments as well. So that's it, guys. Catch you guys next time.